Hello, welcome to Ewe Sew You. My name's Zoe and this is my channel about all of the crafty bits and pieces I get up to. I knit, I sew, I spin on a drop spindle, dabble in weaving from time to time, and anything else that takes my crafty fancy. Now today we are talking about finger loop braids, so grab a brew, put your feet up and let's get started. Welcome back to any returning viewers, and to any new viewers a very warm welcome to you. I have a uncharacteristic shadow with me today. That's because the weather's horrible outside and I haven't got out my studio lights, so I'm relying on the lights in the room and it's doing weird things with shadows. But yeah, today, as I mentioned in the opening to the video, we're talking about finger loop braiding. Now this is a medieval technique that I've been meaning to try for a little while. I kind of stumbled across it on YouTube during all the lockdowns and just haven't got around to giving it a go. And then yesterday I saw on Grace Babbles Travelling Yarns Instagram feed a post about finger loop braiding. I thought, I keep meaning to try that, let's give it a go, and why not do the first attempt on camera? Because yeah, so you're going to watch me forget left and right, I would expect, and possibly get into quite a bit of a tangle. We'll see. So, finger loop braids you can use to make cording, you can use to make like flat bands, to embellish garments and bags and that kind of thing. They would have been used for lacing up clothing, for drawstrings on bags, for cinching in the wrists on garments, that kind of stuff, from what I gather from Googling. I'm obviously not an expert. I would recommend the loopbraider.com website if you are interested in finding out a bit more about finger loop braiding. There's loads of information on there and quite a few videos, and I'll be using the technique that she shows today. There's not much difference between her technique and other videos I've seen. This bit will become more clear when you actually see me having a go, I hope. Loop braider uses her ring finger to manipulate the loops. Other videos I've seen people use their index finger. It seems to be just a reversal of the order that you're working the loops in that makes the difference between which finger you're using. It doesn't seem to be a massively different technique. It's just that one version is a reverse of the other, from what I can tell. There are other forms of finger braiding out there. There's a Japanese form that predates kumihimo, which I believe is called kuteiro. I'll put it on the screen, and apologies to Japan for just murdering your beautiful language. I don't speak Japanese. So it's a really old technique. It's a really simple technique. I do have a lucette that I've used to make cords on in the past, which is a very portable little wooden device that I got from, her name escapes me at the moment. It was at a reenactors fair, it's a Tudor, I want to say Jane the Tudor, but I don't think that's right. Somebody the Tudor, Lucy the Tudor, that was it, Lucy the Tudor. So it's a wooden knitting fork, basically it's called a lucette, and you use that to make cords. That's very portable. Finger loop braiding, not so portable, because you need to anchor what you're making onto something. So I've got some yarn here, some leftover sock yarn, because that's what I have plenty of on hand. You can use embroidery floss, you can use cotton, you can use linen, any of the kind of historical stuff that people would have sewn and made fabric with, you can use, and you can also use modern threads as well. So I was tempted to use some of my Christmas sparkly yarn to make a braid, but I realised that's not particularly smooth. So I'm thinking for the first attempt that I'll use a smoother thread like the yarns that I've got here, although they do have a bit of stretch too, so maybe string would be better for a first go, or embroidery floss, but my embroidery floss is currently all spoken for by projects I've got on the go, so I'm not going to risk leaving myself short with like 3 stitches to go or something. So I'm using sock yarn. You can use anything. The benefit of this is also it will show up better on camera than embroidery floss because it's thicker. So I'm going to cut some threads and switch the camera around and let's have a go, and you can laugh at me getting myself in a right mess and a tangle. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I used to make friendship bracelets. It can't be that different. Okay, so I've cut 5 loops of yarn about the same length. I've done it twice. And I've tied the ends together, the cut ends together, with an overhand knot. Then I've attached this one to a chair at that end, because you need to anchor it to something, and well, that's what I've got. So now I'm going to split these bits of yarn onto different fingers. Oh, I'm already in a tangle. Okay, so let's open it out. I think it's going to matter too much, I suppose, if it's tangled to begin with, because it's going to come untangled as I work, I would have thought. I think this is to do with how I've tied the knot that's causing the confusion. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 on this hand, and we'll do, let's put that one that way, 1, 2 on the hand. So yeah, they're kind of sort of okay. There may be some tangles in there, but beginner project, it's going to happen. So I've got 3 on my left hand, on my index, 1 on my middle finger trying to escape. So my index, my middle and my ring finger. On my right hand I've got 1 on my index finger and my middle finger. My palms are going to be facing towards each other as I'm working. And yeah, so we're going to go through the first 2 with the right ring finger and grab the top of the 3rd loop, pull it through, and then switch those 2 to the index and middle finger. Then we're going to take my ring finger on my left hand, through, take the top of that, pull it through. Oh, I forgot to tighten. And then we'll walk those through. Then we're back to this ring finger, through, grab the top. So this apparently is how you work a square braid. Might look too thin. I'll keep ending up with 2 fingers for one loop. Through, grab the top. Okay, oh, I'm just getting ahead of myself as I'm walking. That's all, walking my fingers down. Okay. So middle finger, ring finger through the middle of 2 loops, grab the top of the 2nd one, and tighten. Through, grab, and tighten. And how have I got 2 there? I told you I'd get myself in a tangle. Slow down. Okay, through, grab, and pull. Switch the fingers round. Through, grab and pull. Switch the fingers round. I can see this being in front of the TV. Okay, so here's my finished square braid. So it's got 4 faces and it's got corners, so that's why it's called a square braid. I've just tied a knot at the end. I'm sure with some yarn it would hold itself together, but just to be on the safe side, and because I'm not sewing this into anything, just tied a knot. So yeah, so that's the square braid. I've done it in the 2 colours. And yeah, it was fairly straightforward. It took me about 20 minutes to do for this length. I'll measure it later, tell you how long it is. I have, as I showed you earlier, I put together 2 sets of loops. So I've tied the other one on to my chair. And I'm going to have the threads in the same order as I had before. So the 2 bright green on my right and the 3 dark green on my left. And we're going to try and do a flat braid. We're going to start off with a bit of a split at the top, and then we're going to do some flat braid, and then we're going to do a bit more split, a bit of flat braid, and so on. So the rhythm is the same. You're still going through the first 2 and picking up this loop, but where before we were picking up the loop from over the top, this time we're going to go through the middle of the loop. Yeah, let's see if I can hold on to it first. So through the middle of the loop, doesn't matter which side you grab, and this way we're not twisting it. To tighten it up, so again through, through and through. So we're going to do that on both sides to create our split. So we'll do a couple of repeats for the colour progression. So by repeats I mean getting the bright green back to the right hand side. Again, I've not tried this before, so hopefully it goes to plan. There are resources out there for doing braids with more loops. Again, as I say, loopbraider.com is a good resource, but there are loads of videos as well of people doing different versions of these braids. Now apparently when you do the flat and the split braids, as you're working them they look the same as the square braid that we've just done. It's when you've finished them and you take them off that you notice the difference. And effectively what we're creating at the moment is 2 separate thinner braids on top of each other to create a little bit of a slit. So I'm just going to do one more repeat and then we'll have a go at making the flat part of the braid. And I can actually see the split at the top of my braid, which is good. It's probably going to be a little more looking like the square braid for the flat than the split. Okay, so now we're back at the beginning of our repeat, so we're going to try create a flat braid. So the first thing you're going to do is, like we did for the square braid, through, grab from over the top and tighten. Then the second bit is like we've just done for the split, through. So through, over, through, over, through. I'm just going to keep doing that for a while, and then I'll put another split in, I think. We'll see, I might not, I might just keep going. So I'm just going to get these bright green ones all onto the right and the dark green ones all onto the left. Okay, so there we are. And I'm just again going to tie a knot at the end to be on the safe side. Okay, so I'll cut that off the chair and give you a better look at this band. Okay, so there we have our flat band with little holes in, little splits in. So I'll show you that next to the square band. You can see the difference. So I hope you found that useful and interesting. I'll put the finished braids up here so you can have a look at them properly in close up. Now I can see me using these for all sorts of things, from trims on dresses and tops and things, to tassels and key rings and bookmarks and all sorts of stuff. So let me know down below what you would use a finger loop braid for, and tag me over on Instagram to let me see what you've come up with once you've had a bit of a play. It's a really fun, really simple technique, so yeah, have at it. Now, I aim to put a video up every weekend. Sometimes it's a technique-based video like this one. Once a month it's a what I've been working on the previous month video, like a podcasty type thing. And sometimes it's just me waffling at the camera. So if you've enjoyed spending time with me today, I'd love to see you here next week. So like and subscribe and ding that bell down below to get the notification for when it goes live, because it's sometimes a Friday, sometimes a Saturday, sometimes a Sunday, and it could be any time of the day because I'm that organised. So I will see you next week, and until then, happy crafting and bye bye for now.